day. Hope you're having a great day. Again, appreciate y'all for y'all support on this channel. Thought I'd take a little walk today, kind of take it easy. I usually run during this time with my wife, but we thought we'd take a break. These last 2 days, that mile run is kind of rough, but we still want to get our exercise in. She doing her strength training, and I'm just walking today. But I hope y'all having a great day. Hope y'all staying motivated today. But again, appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope you're having a blessed day. Hope you're having a blessed day. Staying inspired. Again, appreciate y'all. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Let me know who's in here. Let me know who's in here. Again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Great day to walk and stuff like that. But I want to get into this conversation. I want to get into this conversation. Wait for a few people to come in here. Wait for a few people to come in here. Seems like usually around two minutes or so, people start coming in the chat. Again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great day. But I want to talk about, everybody has their uniqueness. The Creator creates us all unique in our own way. Sometimes we feel like we're not good enough. We feel like we're not smart enough. We feel like we're not capable of achieving certain things or certain goals in life. But it's greatness in all of us. It's greatness in all of us, and we have to tap into that greatness sometimes. Sometimes we don't see it in ourselves. Sometimes anxiety get in the way. Sometimes fear of being yourself gets in the way of being successful. That happened to me a lot. You had the fear of being yourself a lot of times. Anxiety. How you doing, Anna? Sometimes anxiety creeps up, and we get kind of in the spirit of the moment. How you doing, King? Stu Dog. Sometimes anxiety gets in the way of what we trying to accomplish in life. Things get in the way. I'm doing good, Anna. Sometimes anxiety gets in the way of success, and we feel like we're not capable of doing things. But again, appreciate y'all. Anxiety gets in the way of what we're trying to do in life, and sometimes we feel like, I wouldn't say we have to dumb ourselves down around certain people, but we may feel intimidated by people. Intimidation is a real thing. Intimidation is a real thing. We feel like sometimes around certain people, we can't be ourselves around certain people, and that's a real thing. I felt like that in certain moments of my life. Felt like I couldn't be myself at certain times. And you know, I've learned now just to be myself uh, around people. You know, even at my age, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, and I know you probably feel the same way. You can't really express yourself around certain people because they feel like, you know, they stick you in a certain area of your life where you used to be. And so just encouraging you guys just to unleash the greatness in you, no matter who's around. We can be intimidated by things. Sometimes we can lose out on a great opportunity because we dumb down ourselves to fit or appease somebody else, you know. So, you know, just be yourself at all times. Don't try to change for nobody. You know, unleash the greatness inside of you because it's something great inside that somebody needs. Somebody will be inspired by you just being yourself, you know. Somebody's inspired by you just being yourself. You know, even with YouTube, you have to be yourself, you know. Being up here, you know, I see a lot of people here, you know, they being like the next person on YouTube, you know, the way they come on the video. But I love that people, you know, people say all the time they like, you know, my personality. They like the way I am on camera. They like that I'm sociable, you know. And so I just be myself on camera. And that's all I can be, you know. Because I used to try to put on a thing, you know, try to pronounce every word correctly, try to do this and do that on camera. And I was like, no, that's not myself. That's not me. How you doing, Sigma Mazi? But, you know, just try to be yourself at all times. You know, unleash greatness in you, you know, inside of you. Sometimes we have to release those things. Sometimes we got to meditate. I think meditation is a key to releasing, I wouldn't say chakras and all that stuff. I know a lot of people don't believe in that stuff. But I would say release, you know, release energy, you know, breathe in, breathe out, type things to really calm your spirit. Sometimes we get a lot of anxiety. We get a lot of stress in our lives. Sometimes we think about more than we have to in life. Or sometimes we put on things ourselves that we don't need to put on, you know, as far as life is concerned. And so just calm yourself and really think about what life can offer you, you know. Discover new ways, research new things. We in a time where we can learn, you know, anything. We can learn anything, you know. Why can't, because people can learn bad things, why we can't learn great things, you know, positive things to do, you know. A lot of people on YouTube, you know, they get famous because, you know, they have the latest tea, you know, on celebrity drama and all that stuff. You know, I think we need to promote or help out those who promotes positivity online, you know. That's the thing I hate about this YouTube space. We always promote drama, you know, we share drama on here, but most times we don't share positivity on these platforms. You know, we always sharing all this crazy stuff, you know, the tea about Diddy, the tea about this, all the tea about all this stuff. But when it comes to positivity, we don't really share those things to help uplift each other, you know. And you know, we just got to, like I said, unleash the greatness inside of us. A lot of us, we stay in the shell, you know. We feel like we can't release the things, the passions that we have. We feel like we have to struggle and stress out on a 9-to-5 job where we can unleash the greatness, the passions we have, and make income from that. It's nothing wrong with having fun while you enjoying what you love to do while getting paid at the same time. I believe it's nothing wrong with that. I think we come from a time where we have to work, something that we don't really like to do. We just do it to make money, but we don't love it. We don't love it. We may like our job. We might think it's good. Appreciate you. But we have to do something that we really love to do. We always, the past generations, we taught to do things to survive. We taught to just do things to survive in life, but we never taught to do what we love to do and learn how to make money with it. And I think we have to get to that space. Appreciate you. I like what you're saying. Appreciate you. But I think we got to get to a space where we can learn how to do what we love to do and make money at the same time. I think that comes with taking risk. It comes with taking risk, doing what we love to do. I think it's more of a risk to do what we love to do and make money than doing what we hate to do. I wouldn't say hate. We might like the job situation, but it's not really what we want to do. Stay positive, and I agree with what I've heard you say so far. Again, appreciate you. But yeah, I think we got to get out of that mindset. We got to get out of that mindset of just doing what we have to do instead of doing what we love to do and make money with it. There's nothing wrong with that. You may be on your 9-to-5 job on your break now, and you're like, I don't feel like going back on this work floor. This is not me. You be on your work floor, you be thinking about plans for what you really want to do in life. You got plans to be a great physician. You got plans to be a great whatever you want to do. And you feel like sometimes work can be time consuming, especially the job I used to be on. It was very time consuming. Every day I had to wake up, literally every day I had to wake up and work, because most times we had 7 days a week. And that was getting in the way of a lot of things. You get home, you get tired, go to sleep, wake up, go back to work. The same thing every day. It was a good job. It wasn't a hard job, but at the same time, it was very time consuming. And the job can be good, but the people can be a pain, and you know what. And so just try to prioritize. I think we got to prioritize more of what we love to do. Sometimes we prioritize and we prioritize the wrong things. I gave up working 18 years ago. It made no sense working for companies that don't really care for their employees. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah. But my story is I got laid off a year ago, and I told my story. It was on both sides. I wouldn't say it was just my job, but they was laying off a lot of people that kind of slacked in certain areas as far as performance. I was a great worker. It was just wearing on my body. Every day I had to wake up. Sometimes I was late to work because we had to work 7 days a week, and it was putting a toll on my body. And they let me go. I'll be transparent. They let me go, but I feel at the same time it was a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise because now I get to do, take my time and do what I love to do. And sort of, I'm in a moment of my life where I'm taking a risk. I haven't worked in a year, but I want to go back. I want to go back to a 9 to 5, but I want to go back to a job where I had time to do what I really love to do. I don't want to accept a job where I have to work and be stressed out, and I had time to do things like this I'm doing. Being on YouTube and stuff and talking to you guys. So I don't want to have a job where I'm stressed out and got to deal with co-workers and stuff like that. Appreciate you. I would suggest that you dedicate some time to self-reflection. You might find that offer a new perspective. Thanks for that chat. That's a good and I'm gonna pin that. That's good. But that's a good. I would suggest that you dedicate some time to self-reflection. Self-reflection is a great thing because in order for you to release the greatness in you, you have to discover who you are. I think a lot of people, especially females, I've seen they rush into relationships and it slows their life down, what they really want to do, because they prioritize their life around a man that really don't appreciate them. I've seen that a lot of a woman that I know in my life, and the man treats them so bad, but they still treat the guy so good. And the woman wastes their time, and so self-reflection is a huge thing. Making sure you respect yourself. Respect yourself as a woman. Like you said, self-reflection. Trying to think of the word. We have to, I think, the woman out there, really prioritize yourself. Think highly of yourself. Don't just accept any man. Don't just accept any man. Accept a man that loves you for you and respects you, as a woman. And, you'll be able to achieve things in life, and they accept who you are as a woman, and they lift you up. They don't put you down. It's a lot of, and I'll say it's a lot of jealous men, even though I'm a man myself. I'll be truthful. It's a lot of jealous men out there because a lot of women is making good money. They're being successful, and don't be with a man that lowers your value. You value yourself more. Be with a man that values you. That puts you at high value. I remember what's his name, Kevin Samuels, talk about your value rate, and as a woman, you want to value yourself. You don't want to be with a man that devalues you. Yeah, women and people come and go. But don't devalue yourself with somebody or be around people that devalue you or leads you in the wrong direction because that happens to a lot of people. They have a great life and then they get with somebody that ruins their life, you know. Look at the situation. I know Cassie learned a whole lot from that situation, dealing with Diddy, even though Diddy was this big guy, you know, this big celebrity, but it devalued her, you know. She felt devalued being with this monster named Diddy. And so, you know, we have to value ourselves more. You know, of course, she was probably afraid to leave being in the situation. You know, she was afraid. But don't sacrifice your life in order to get success. You know, don't sacrifice your life, you know, being just with anybody to get fame or fortune, because you know, in the long run, it might not be a great space to be in. You know, you can get all the money in the world, get all the riches, but you still lose your soul. You know, like it says in the Bible, how you gain the whole world and lose your soul. You know, a lot of people lose their soul being in the industry, in the entertainment world, and you know, they lose their soul. You know, of course, you know, everybody wants success. Me personally, I'm a songwriter myself. You know, I've written for a few artists, but I you know, I don't want to sell my soul for fame. You know, I wouldn't want to sell my soul for fame. You know, be my own person. You know, I don't want to sign over to anybody, you know, in the music industry, you know, unless it's a great situation, you know, unless it's a great situation for me and my family, you know. And so, you know, don't sacrifice the positivity in your life in order to achieve certain things in your life, because later on you'll regret it. You know, sometimes people sign contracts. They don't look at the contract, they just look at how much money they're gonna get. Oh, it's a duck out here. They just look at how much money they're gonna get, and they don't, you know, and they sacrifice things. I thought that duck was about to attack me. But they sacrifice, you know, they sacrifice things, you know, in order to get success. But again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to support this channel in any size amount, you know, $ Open Mind Convo. Cash App is in my bio on my profile page on this YouTube. Do what makes you happy. These times, you don't need to sign up with a label. Yeah. I urge you to, you know, keep your rights, keep your ownership. You know, when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to support this channel, $ Open Mind Convo. If you want to support this channel, again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope y'all being successful. You know, unleash the greatness in you. A lot of people, they hold back from what they really love to do in life, and they feel, you know, bad about themselves. You know, they feel bad about themselves. So again, appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Appreciate you. All right, have a pleasant remainder of the day. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. And also, if you want to support, $ Open Mind Convo. If you want to support this channel, all right, peace.